Hi, hello, good evening, and welcome to Felixstowe Live. My name's Chris, and tonight I've got with me a gentleman who you may have met before. I hope you have. You certainly would have met him on Felixstowe Live. His name is Mark Jones, and he is the founder of the famous, got to say this, haven't I, Toothless in Suffolk. And Mark, you started this organisation months and months ago when it became apparent that NHS dentists were effectively a vanishing breed. They were disappearing. Tell us a bit about starting Toothless in Suffolk and what actually inspired you, or really, I think more likely, forced you to do it.
Thanks, Chris, for having me on again. Toothless in Suffolk came about when one of my friends in Leiston rang me up one afternoon and said, "Mark, have you heard the news?" I said, "What's that?" He said, "My dentist is closing." And what he meant was my dentist, the big conglomerate, was closing its doors to it was the last remaining dentist in Leiston. Bupa one closed the year before, and leaving 6,000 odd residents without access to an NHS dentist. And he said, "Look, I'm not having it." I said, "Well, what should we do?" And we decided to get a campaign together, get a petition together. And out we were outside the co-op in Leiston with our petition on a wallpaper pasting table, gone old school. And we had people queuing up to sign our petition. I've never seen that before. My mate Steve never seen that before. On a street stall before we'd even properly set up. And from that action on that day, the campaign has grown and grown and grown. We had a march and a rally which was very well covered in the media in Bury St Edmunds last year in October, and we had the chair of the British Dental Association come down and speak to the rally. We had well over 100 and something, around about 130, 140 people march round Bury St Edmunds that day. And from there, the campaign has grown. We now have Toothless in Norfolk, because they're suffering the same way as we are here in Suffolk, in Huntingdon, in Manchester, in Newcastle. Just the other day, I was speaking to a group in Gloucestershire. My friend spoke to a group in Liverpool. We've heard that there's going to be something set up in Portsmouth, in Kent, and just earlier on today, Wiltshire. So and also spoke with some people in South Yorkshire as well. So this is very much a national campaign now, grassroots, single issue campaign about access to dentistry.
So where does the problem actually lie? What actually kicked this all off from the government and dentists' point of view? It looks as if dentists kind of quit when the COVID lockdown struck because they had so many problems getting people in, was the impression I got. Is that right?
In part, that's right. It stems from a contract system that was brought in to play in a previous government, by a previous government in 2006. Only 2 years later, the Health Committee, Scrutiny Committee in Parliament, Houses of Parliament, deemed the contract unfit for purpose. And since 2008, every single government has been somehow able to or unable to remove their hands that they're sitting on, bury their head in the sand and not change and reform the contract and fund it, more importantly, fund the contract to a level that is makes it financially viable for the dental practice, for the practitioner.
Right. Oh, right. Okay. So essentially, you've got a situation where dentists can't actually kind of afford to work for the NHS from the sound of it, really.
Yeah, plain and simple.
Right.
We have dental practices that offer, well, have perhaps an NHS logo
Right.
outside their premises, and a shop sign. But they'll also be delivering private. Invariably, they'll be
Right.
delivering private care as well to paying patients.
Right.
Now, that private care, the private work that they do, is supplementing the work that they're doing on behalf of the NHS. That work, obviously, what the NHS is paying the dentist for a bit of work, does not reimburse them for the total cost of that care that they've delivered to that patient.
Right.
So
We've
you
always
pay
had.
a certain
Sorry.
amount. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. We'll pay 40 odd pounds for some treatment, perhaps a filling, and the government will pay an amount on top of that. So we pay, well, half and half, shall we say,
Yeah.
for argument's sake. But
But
that
it's kind of
care
always
is
been that way, hasn't it?
it's been that way since
Right.
2006.
Ah, right. I see. Okay. It really is. I mean, I can't believe it. We've been seeing on your pages on Facebook, we've been seeing in the news where the news bothers to report it, that people are actually tying a string around their tooth and shutting the door, that kind of thing. That's kind of anecdotal. It's a story that you never believe, but people have been pulling their own teeth, for goodness sake.
They have. I mean, it's Dickensian.
Yeah.
People are using pliers and, as you say, bits of string on a door handle. You and I, and many of your viewers here, will have been paying all their lives into the NHS through the national insurance contributions that are taken out at source when we're paid for the work that we do. And we're not getting the service that we're paying for. And the governments have, every single one since 2006, rather than pay the dentist for all the work that they're doing, they are trying to save money and effectively alienate health inequality.
Right.
That's what they are driving. And let's not forget that amongst all of this is the NHS money that government give the NHS for dental services is the same now as it was, the same amount of money as it was back in 2010.
Right. Really? And all those costs have gone up. I mean, the other question about it is what's effectively happened to the dentists. I mean, if you can't get a dental appointment, you used to be able to get a dental appointment up to two or 3 years ago. You could get a dental appointment, see a dentist, maybe with a bit of trouble find a new dentist. But the truth is now that people simply cannot get a dental appointment, which says either dentists are taking a lot longer because of COVID preparations and things and cleaning and all that kind of stuff, or whether they've left the business in effect, which is what's actually happened, Mark.
Well, this is by and large what was happening. Just a couple of weeks ago, a report was compiled and publicised just recently, just a couple of weeks ago, and it showed across England thousands upon thousands of dentists have left the profession. They are fed up with the situation, and they're effectively voting with their feet, walking out of providing NHS care. Now, we're not blaming them for that. Far from it. We're supporting dentists who want to provide treatment for patients under the NHS system, which is a system that they value wholeheartedly. They've been brought up with it, they trained under it, they practice under that system, but now it's at a point, and has been for some time, pre-COVID, all of this, has been going on for a very, very long time, many, many years. But they've been pushed into a situation where, look, they can't work for nothing anymore, and it's an injustice to them. The government is really, it's an injustice against a highly respected profession, highly skilled, dedicated professionals. One dentist that helps us out on the campaign, she retired last year, 9 years before she was due to retire. Now, anyone knows anything about pensions, that's not the sort of thing that you do, retire early. She retired because she could no longer work under the current contract system. So when you hear people say, oh, there's a lack of dentists, there isn't a lack of dentists. There are plenty of dentists out there, but they're being pushed out by a contract system that is unworkable, unfeasible, unviable, and it puts targets ahead of patient care.
Which is ludicrous. That's kind of the only word you can use for it, isn't it? Really, it's ludicrous. So where are we now? Where are we going next with this? Now I know that you've continued to push this in the media. You've continued to push it, and I know your members will continue to push it with members of Parliament and so on. And I understand you've actually got some kind of result insofar as members of Parliament are going to be actually talking about this on Thursday, is it?
On Thursday, yes. So a backbench motion is going to be heard, or debate is going to be heard, cross-party debate in Westminster Hall. This is not the, that you hear, not the place where the Parliament division dispatch.
It's not that.
This is in
Right.
an annex in Westminster, and that discussion is about access to NHS dentistry. And Peter Aldous, the MP from Waveney, has tabled this along with a Labour MP whose name escapes me. Is it Jill Harding, I think? So we're hoping we will be in Westminster on Thursday from midday, around the sort of where Churchill's statue will be, is positioned, stands, and we'll be there with some banners and some placards in support of this debate. It's a 3-hour debate, and we're encouraging everybody to write to their MP, whether it's here in Suffolk, here in Felixstowe, or anywhere else in the country. Write to their MP, tell them to attend the debate. Every single MP knows about this crisis, this dental crisis, because their post bags are full of complaints from their constituents telling them they're unable to access an NHS dentist. And we've also be publishing an open letter to the MPs tomorrow, which you've got first look at on your screen right now. It's a letter from myself and Steve Marsling, co-founder of Toothless in Suffolk and Toothless in England, thanking them for debating it, but saying, look, we cannot tinker around with this contract system. There's got to be wholesale reform, and it's got to deliver both for the dentists, the practitioners, and of course the patients in equal and priority measure.
Right. It sounds as if it could have some effect, but it's not actually a debate in Parliament itself. Then
no, it's a table by backbenchers, and I understand that it's going to be very well attended because over the past, certainly the past year, we've seen more and more MPs stand up and speak about the situation in their constituency from both sides of the House. And at the moment, government has yet to, other than sort of making a few statements here and there, which are, we have to accept that they are, by and large, they sound positive. But until we actually see some proper reform, we see that the contract, that if they are to use another contract system in future, that it is one that it attracts the professionals that have left the service back into the service, and it's attractive enough for those that are going through dental school at the moment to choose NHS provision to practice their skills under the NHS banner. Because at the moment they're not doing that.
Right. The other thing we got is this, which is that there's an extra, I think, £50 million worth of funding coming to NHS dentistry. What's that going to do? Is it going to have any kind of effect, or is it really, well, you said in this, it's a drop in the ocean. What's it actually going to do? It's not going to encourage more dentists to come and join in and make their careers with dentistry in the NHS, is it?
No, not in the least. What they're trying to do is get dentists to work longer hours, work over the weekend to help with the backlog. And 6 million during the pandemic, 6 million appointments were lost due to the pandemic. So you can imagine, that's across England. Dental appointments, that is, just dental appointments, nothing else. 6 million dental appointments over the course of this pandemic.
So the government has really
do some catch up.
The government has really got to take this seriously, haven't they? Because they don't seem to be doing so then, really, do they?
Well, no, I mean, I've mentioned about the positive words coming from the dental minister, Minister for Dentistry, and yet in the budget, the autumn budget, not one single penny was attached to NHS dentistry.
Right.
Not one single penny.
The thing that gets is that it's very easy for governments to say, oh yes, we're going to do this, oh yes, we're going to do that. But they don't actually do anything. They're promising what they're going to do down the line. We'll throw 20 million or 50 million or 100 million at whatever, but then they say it and then they kind of forget it. Is that the case?
We hope not.
No, quite.
We have to be hopeful, but for instance, I've heard just today, I was made aware of an announcement by NHS East of England, by the commissioners, who we've met with twice, and we're meeting them again on Friday. We chased them up, said, look, you promised us a third meeting with an update about awarding some new contracts, dental contracts, in Norfolk and Suffolk. Well, lo and behold, and I've been given a copy of the email that was sent out by NHS England and NHS Improvement, East of England, part of that organisation. And they were hoping for 7 contracts to be awarded in Norfolk and Suffolk. And of those contracts, of those 7, only 3 were successful. There's 2 practices been awarded in King's Lynn, so that's great for King's Lynn. I'm overjoyed for them. Another one in Norwich and another one in Lowestoft, but nothing for Fakenham, which was in the running for a new contract, dental contract, nothing for Thetford, both of those in Norfolk, and nothing for Leiston.
Right.
So ludicrous. The people of Leiston will not be getting a dentist this year, although in their announcement they say they're doing everything they can to get something in there by summer. But knowing how long this process has taken, I'm not encouraged by what I read on the paper and what I understand, the wheels work very
Yeah.
slowly.
So,
So
so,
very desperate news, very bitterly disappointing
so
for
what
people
is,
at Leiston.
right, what is, I mean, what's going on then from the sound of it? It just sounds as if all that's happening is that the government and ministries are literally dragging their heels.
It
Are they
is,
not
and
bothered?
well, these the contracts that were offered out of these 7 lots across
Hmm.
Norfolk and Suffolk were clearly not attractive enough.
Right.
I mean, if you understand the makeup of the demographics of Fakenham, you understand the demographics
Hmm.
of Thetford and the demographics of Leiston, um, there are not a lot of people there, and this is borne out by the fact, there's evidence by the fact that Bupa and My Dentist chains pulled out of
Right.
Leiston.
Right.
There is
Right.
enough people there to pay private to supplement
Right.
the NHS. So
Right.
they're tinkering around with
Uh-huh.
this contract system, and a contract system on this latest award, which required you to work from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, 7 days a week,
Really?
365 days a year, um, with a very short amount of no, wasn't a long contract, what I would call a long contract. It was only a few years
Yeah.
with no guarantee of it being extended. So
Right.
you'd have to, any businessman, and let's face it, dental
Hmm.
practices, just like
Yeah.
GP
Yeah. Yeah.
surgery, are
Mm.
businesses contracted to provide some of their services on the NHS.
Right.
It's not a viable option for them. So they're walking away. They're thinking, well, why should I be working all these hours for nothing? You can't
That's
blame them.
absolutely ridiculous, that, isn't it? I find that unbelievable, but I believe it because I think that's the way this government seems to want to work. Can we talk about your charter now? We've got a 6-point charter
Yes.
that you've brought out. Tell me a bit more about this, Mark.
Well, when we started the campaign, it was a very simple thing. We want our NHS dentists back in Leiston.
Hmm.
And I've been on your program before, Chris, and
Yeah.
I said that I did a little bit of research in Felixstowe here. And lo and behold, none of the dental practices in Felixstowe are taking on NHS patients.
Quite.
And you've seen that yourself with when I've had
Mm.
a street stall out in Hamilton Road, and you've spoken to people, as I have, when they've queued up to sign our petition, and they tell us, for instance, we've just moved to Felixstowe, we can't get a dentist. And as we've come to understand, learn a lot more about this situation, we put this charter together as we understood more about the consequences, the health inequalities, the trauma that people are going through on their own, literally on their own, and having to pull their own teeth out. We developed from just having the one line, an NHS dentist for everyone, to this charter, these 6 demands we want government to seriously give serious consideration, the government and the commissioners serious consideration to, because we think if they were to ensure that if they were to meet these demands from ourselves, that the public, the paying public, in so much as they're paying their national insurance contributions, they're also paying the NHS, the dentist, for NHS treatment, albeit in part, for a dental appointment or dental treatment, that this will have a much better outcome for patients and dentists alike. So that's why we put these. We thought long and hard about them, and we've come up with this charter, or a set of 6 demands, and we hope
Right.
people will listen.
So what I think we need to do is kind of keep up the pressure from our point of view and keep mentioning this and keep getting people behind you. Where else can we go? I know you were doing at one point a quite a big petition. How did that go, and has that been part of the driver to getting some of the results that you've talked about?
Yeah, I mean, we've got well over 7,000, approaching 8,000 on the petition.
Right.
Um, so at the moment, with all these new groups from across the country that are coming on stream, we've also launching Toothless in London this week.
Right.
Can you believe it? The city,
Yeah.
the capital city, is suffering in the same way as we are here in sleepy Suffolk. Um, it is a national problem, and really, uh, we are focusing on the local organisations, but also here this week in Westminster, we'll be hoping that an MP or two will come over and speak to us before they enter Parliament. And again, I put that plea out. Please write to your MP, tell them to attend this debate in Westminster Hall that starts at 1:30 on Thursday afternoon. And because your constituents are crying out for treatment for under the NHS dental treatment, we can no longer have this health inequality that is stretching the length and breadth of this country. Something has to be done, and if we can get a good majority of MPs understanding that, realising it, stop prevaricating, let's get on with it, and let's level up. Let's level up our health in Suffolk and everywhere else,
And
you know,
around the country.
and
Yeah.
around the country. Yeah.
Okay, let me say first quickly that we do have a little string underneath our picture there showing the Facebook group for Toothless in Suffolk. If you go there, you will be able to learn quite a lot more about what Toothless in Suffolk has been doing and wants to do. And I think what we're going to do with you, Mark, if this is all right with you, we'll come back to you probably on Thursday morning and just talk briefly about what's happening before the event. You're going to be there, I take it.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back to you afterwards and see what's been said, because if we can help to get more of this information in front of people, then that will help people to understand what's going on and where they're being let down, in effect, isn't it, really, the truth? We're being let down by our government. I think the truth is that dentists themselves, as individuals, want to do their jobs, but they've got no way of doing it and running a business while they do it. I'm disgusted. What do you think?
Well, so am I, and that's, you and I have known each other for a very long time, Chris. You know that we hate to see injustice, and I'm one of the lucky ones. I have an NHS dentist, not in Felixstowe. I couldn't get one in Felixstowe. I had to go to Ipswich. But
Yeah.
some people, there was a patient living in the southwest, travelling all the way up to Lanarkshire to see a dentist in
My
Scotland
goodness.
to get treatment. You go to the ends of the earth, don't they? You hear that? Well, you're having to go to the end of the country to
That's
get treatment.
ridiculous.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. And
Yeah.
we hear these stories all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just, you see, the NHS, in their charter, it says they are to provide healthcare where there is identifiable need. Well, that need, as we've discovered since starting this campaign here in Suffolk, in Leiston, and here in Felixstowe and Bury St Edmunds and across the county, that need is right in every corner of the county, in every corner of England. And we hear that they're having similar problems. Actually, I've heard this week that having similar problems or will be having similar problems in Scotland as well. And we won't give up. We're going to be here for we're not here, just for the fun of it. We're determined, and the more people that support us, we're not funded by anyone. We rely on the goodwill. We've had some offer of help from the trades councils, from one or two unions to pay for bits of printing and whatnot. We pay out of our own pockets. We're not affiliated to anyone at all. It's a single issue campaign that is at the very heart of our communities. The issues are at the very heart of our communities. Communities such as here in Felixstowe, which are growing. We're building houses left, right, and centre, but we're not providing access to NHS healthcare.
Mark,
That's wrong.
we're going to leave it there, but we're going to come back to this a few more times over the short term, I think, to kind of try and get this message out to more and more people. I don't know how we'll do it, but we'll do our very best to do so. And what I'll do is say, hang on for a moment there, and I'll come back to you in a mo. But in the meantime, I will say, if you've been watching, thank you for watching. If you're watching us on replay, thank you for doing that. You will see at the bottom of the screen there is the actual Facebook address, but all you have to search for is Toothless in Suffolk, and you will find this group. If you're elsewhere in the country, look for Toothless in your area, and you will probably find a group there as well. We are, I think, very desperate. I know that in my case, I needed a dentist 6 months ago, and I booked an appointment 6 months ago, and I got an appointment in March, and that's with an NHS dentist that I've been with for years. So how you're getting on if you weren't actually booked into an NHS dentist or aren't registered with one, I really don't know. But you and I and everybody else pays into the NHS via our national insurance, via our past contributions, and we do deserve to have a service from this. So I'm going to wrap this up here and say thank you very much for watching. Come back to us here on Felixstowe Live, and we will do our best to bring you more updates on this campaign from Mark and his colleague Steve and the other people who are involved, because I think they're doing a fantastic job and they deserve our help. My name's Chris, this is Felixstowe Live, and I will see you soon.